Good afternoon, good morning to some. This is Jeff Gamble with the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. Just getting rolling here. If you're watching the replay, we'd like to say hello. Please tell us where you're actually coming from. Got a couple people joining us. Hello, hello. Bess, how are you?
Good day, everyone. I am feeling great. How are you, Jeff?
I'm good. John is with us.
So welcome. Introducing ourselves, Bess McCarty with the MLM Millionaire Club, also called the Shrink of MLM. And this is Jeffrey David Gamble of my Leadership Network, also a certified John Maxwell trainer. So we love partnering together to help network marketers. And one of the ways we do this is every lunchtime, weekday, noon Eastern time, we bring you leadership tips called the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show, based on the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. Today, well, I'll just finish telling a minute about our purpose. We love to help people grow. We love to educate, empower, and equip entrepreneurs and create independent servant leaders. So today is number 6 of that 7, right? 7 of that law of the 21 laws. And this is the law of respect, because people naturally follow leaders stronger than themselves. And love to hear what Jeff has to say. Let's grab a paper and pen, because I always take notes.
Okay, guys, appreciate everybody for joining us. Christopher just jumped on. James is here. So we're going to go over the law of respect. And Bess just hit it. People will follow leaders stronger than themselves. I actually just watched a crazy video on about Star Wars and why General Tarkington followed, or General Tarkington gave orders to Darth Vader, and Darth Vader followed them. And I was like, yeah, why is that? Well, it just so happens that Darth Vader has a mutual respect for Mr. Tarkington in that show. And you can watch the comic book if you're into comic books. But it just proved the point that this actually goes all the way into, you know, every level of business, every level of, you know, relationships that you have. So let's get into some of these rules. Living the law of respect. It says there's 6 qualities that help a leader gain respect. Number 1 is natural leadership ability. One of the greatest pitfalls for natural leaders is relying on talent alone. Some people have the talent and they don't study. Some people have the talent and they just won't show up to the game. They won't learn anything else. They think because some people follow them, everybody should. And what they fail to realize is there's 21 laws. There's not 2 laws. There's not 3 laws. There's not 5 laws. There's not the laws that you're just good at. There's 21 laws. So if you only use part of them, you're only going to get part of what's going on. Number 2, respect for others. True leadership is voluntary. True leadership is voluntary, meaning people are going to follow you because they want to, not because there's a title, not because there's money involved in it, but people follow you because they really want to. You can see this happen in a lot of jobs where somebody gets a title, you know, their management, and nobody listens to them. John says the true way to find out if you're a real leader is take away the title and take away the money and see if people still follow you. And in a lot of cases, I was having a discussion about corporate America, and I said this happens a lot where, you know, somebody who is a subordinate trains their superior, and it doesn't work out in a lot of cases. Not that it can't work out, not that that can't happen, but in a lot of cases it doesn't work out. It says when people respect a person, they admire you. When people respect a friend, they love you. But when people respect a leader, they'll actually follow you. They'll get up and make movement right away. Number 3, courage. Tim's with us. What's happening, sir? Courage. This demands being willing to stand alone, to do what's right and risk failure and danger of criticism. You know, you just know this is the right direction. It's not necessarily a direction everybody wants to go in a lot of cases. Here's the thing. Sometimes you've got to make changes that people don't like. It's necessary to make changes that people don't like. Why? Because some leaders see the bigger picture. Some leaders have a different vantage point than what you have. If you read anything about military advancement, this happens a lot where they need to move a certain group of people a certain army from one place to another. And everybody's like, man, we just got done fighting, the fight just happened. I don't want to move. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But it's the best move if you want to keep everybody alive. And certain people just don't get it. That's why in the military, people follow orders, but in real life, people follow leaders. So in business and MLM, that's what we're talking about. Getting people to do things, getting people to make changes. That's why you always want to explain to them, this is where we're at. This is how we got here. This is what we see happening in the future. And this is why you need to take these steps now, because if you don't, the consequences. And if you do, here's all the advantages. So you explain it kind of from every angle and then ask for, permission for that change. Number 4, success. Success is an attractor. So if you naturally want, respect, is you have success. A friend of mine, we'll just call him John, because I don't want to give away his real name. John was talking about, all the people that have come up to him and be like, man, I want to be a motivational speaker too. And he's like, then do something motivational. It's funny. People want to speak. He's like, you don't get to speak on stage because you think you're a motivational speaker. You get to speak on stage because you can actually motivate. Just like if you want to speak about leadership, you actually have to lead somebody first. That helps a lot when you're speaking on leadership. And here's the thing. People are like, well, it seems like it's so easy for you to talk about. Well, when you have all the stories and you have all the examples and this actually stuff that happens in real life and you run into these problems, it is easy to speak on because you're living it. If you're living it, it just happens to be a whole lot easier to, speak on. It says people are drawn to accomplishments. Advice is cheap, but results are priceless. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. And what my friend John was talking about is he's like, you got to do something motivational. He's like, where do you start if you want to be a motivational speaker? He goes, I'll tell you where I started. I started with 2 people in my living room. It wasn't on stages in front of thousands and thousands of people. It wasn't with Grant Cardone. It wasn't at a Tony Robbins seminar that I was able to get up and speak. I spoke in front of 2 people. He goes, I did 10,000, 20,000 personal one-on-one sit downs. And then I did group meetings, and then I did seminars in hotels for years on Saturday. That's how I built to the point. And he goes, and then I built real businesses, successful businesses. I built to $400,000 in a company. I built to $3 million in another company. I put 10, 20, 30, $50 million into a company and grew it. He's like, at that point, then you have success. Then you can speak in coliseums in front of people. Lewis is with us. What's happening, sir? So the next is loyalty. Loyalty is a very important factor when it comes to the qualities of respect and leadership. So loyalty is a dying attribute. Most of us want instant gratification. Instant gratification. And a lot of people want this with their health. Lewis is with us. He can tell us all about that. They want the pill. They want the drink, the syrup. They want something that'll instantly cure their health. People want this in business. They want something that they can instantly take and just poof. They have 25 people online. Some people think it's just one phrase. Well, if I use this one phrase, I can go get anybody. I can go have anybody sign up. And what I can tell you is it takes a little bit more than that. Loyalty requires steadfastness. Steadfastness is doing the thing you committed to long after the feeling is gone. The feeling you had when you were actually deciding to do that is gone. That's what true commitment is. That's what steadfastness is. You're going to do what you're supposed to do long enough to get the results. Here's what I can tell you. Health works like that. Business works like that. Pretty much everything I know works like that. It takes a while for it to have an effect. Now, obviously, if your arm's cut off, yes, you can go to the hospital and have it sewn back on in seconds and minutes. That's different. That's emergency versus overall health. Because somebody always brings that up to me. They're like, well, it doesn't take a long time. I was like, okay, granted. But if you ever sat in the emergency room, that's a whole new definition of the word quickly. I've been to the emergency room a lot of times. In fact, I was at the emergency room so much as a kid. The one doctor's like, you're back? I mean, it's bad. I mean, those guys see a lot of people, and when they recognize you, you are in trouble. I got a lot of stitches as a kid. I was like, don't even bother with a Novocaine shot. I'm like, just sew it up. I actually said that to one of the doctors. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I don't feel anything anymore. Value added to others. I actually asked one of the doctors, I had so many stitches as a kid. I actually asked one of the doctors, I was like, I think I was 13 or 14. I was like, no, if you just teach me how to do this, I could save us all a lot of time. Because it was always, I had 400 or 500 stitches by the time I was like 16. So yeah. Value added to others. This is perhaps the greatest source of respect. So if you want to be respected, yes, it can be voluntary based on who you are. Yes, it can be natural ability. Yeah, it can be courage or success. It can be loyalty. But when you go out and you actually add value to other people, when you actually go out and help other people and you have conversations, a lot of people kind of will mistake keeping in touch for, hey, you're following up with the business. I'm like, no, I actually saw that you were online. And here's the thing. Sometimes I'll actually talk to and present to so many people, I'll actually forget sometimes who I've talked to. And they'll be like, I know you're just following up with me. I was like, what would I have to follow up with you on? Well, I know you want me to get into that business or whatever you're doing. And I'm like, can I be real honest? They're like, yeah. I'm like, I didn't even remember that I showed it to you. I was following up because I wanted to see how you are. I don't care. Another friend of mine that we were talking to yesterday kind of said something along the lines of, you and another guy are in this company or were in this company before, and I don't want to join one and make the other one mad and this, that, and the other thing. And I said, can I be honest with you? I said, I don't care where your income comes from, and I don't care what team you're on. My friendship has nothing to do with the business you're in. And I said, the moment it does and that matters to you, that's not a friendship, by the way. Have a good day for the rest of your day. And he wrote back, he's like, I never thought of it that way. If your friendship is based on a comp plan, you don't actually have a friendship, therefore. Value added to others. So that's perhaps the greatest source of respect, is doing what you're supposed to do and being a good person and helping people and just keeping in touch. That's what you're supposed to be doing. It's not supposed to be related to money or a comp plan or what team you're on. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this back over to Bess for a couple minutes on, her thoughts and her information on the law of respect.
Well, thank you, Jeff. So I didn't know that you were, aspiring to be a surgeon or or sewer upper. That's something. But that shows me that you have taken risks even as a child, that you were willing to have an adventure at the cost of getting hurt. And really, to be an entrepreneur, you have to take a certain amount of risk. There's different kinds, people that take a lot of risks or people that take a little risk, and we each would do well to know which one we are, so that we can live, according to our nature like that. I always take notes when you speak too. So thank you for sharing your multitude of life experience. I'd like to say hi to Adrian from New Jersey, and Denise and James and Joyce and Nancy and Lucy and Tim and Tina and John. And you guys and the people who are on here so much, I just want to acknowledge you for being consistent, because this is what it takes to be a leader. This is one of the qualities that I respect. And I wonder what are the qualities that you respect in a leader? Lucy just wrote a really nice little story, so I'm going to repeat it here, not word for word, but Lucy Morris, a good friend of ours, said that, and a very strong lady, she teaches archery, and I do appreciate your uniqueness, Lucy, and your strength of character. Lucy says that in 6th grade, there was one girl that the other people sort of shunned, and she stood up for this one friend at the risk of losing all the other friends, and she did lose them. But she felt good because she was standing up for something that was right and for integrity over peer pressure. And what was that saying? If you don't stand up for something, you stand for nothing. So thank you for that little story, and everyone for being here. If you're getting value, we'd love if you hit like, share, comment. We'd love to hear back from you. And soon we're going to take some questions and answers. So, we're going to take questions. So I'd love to hear your takeaways that you got today. Did a light bulb go off for you? And or if it does, I'd like to hear that. And we'd love to hear your questions. I do have a question that was asked on our Facebook group page, the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show, which I'll bring up at the end from Julie. So respect in the book, John Maxwell talks in the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership that we are speaking from here. It tells the story of Harriet Tubman, who was not a leader that you'd expect, you know, a black, uneducated, poor slave. Would this be a woman? Would this be a person that people would respect and follow? Absolutely. Absolutely, because they knew that she cared, she was consistent, she would risk her life to come. She got free herself at the threat of her husband threatening to turn her in if she tried to escape to freedom. She did it anyway. And then she not only stayed free, she came into the free zone. She came back again and again and again to free hundreds of other people and change their lives too. So she risked everything. So I wonder what you respect in a leader. And like Jeff said, not just, you know, just, oh, I'm successful now, that's all I need to do. And I sit back and people follow me, or for whatever reason they want them to follow him. But there's all these qualities that he mentioned. And I was thinking, well, life is a great leveler, isn't it? Life is a great mirror. It's a report card of how we're doing. So I'll turn it back over to Jeff here.
Okay, guys. So leading others to the law of respect. Travis is with us. What's happening, sir? This is a really good exercise. It says, look at the people you attract and who chooses to follow you. I kind of wrote it a different way because this is a question that a friend of mine and I were having. Who do you keep in touch with? Who do you keep in touch with? But more importantly, who keeps in touch with you? Have you ever been in a situation, you know, and there are certain people that if you want to run a true test of, you know, who's really on your team, I kind of will wait people out to see who keeps in touch with me, to see, is this a person that, you know, is just seeing if I reach out to them on a consistent basis, but is it mutual? Does it come back? It's one of the tests to see if you have that respect with somebody. Are they also reaching back out, or is it just one-sided? Writing down a list of who you keep in touch with and then who keeps in touch with you. What I find in a lot of cases is my old company lost friends in business. They would not talk to me. Okay, I'm going to read that here in a second because I want to get to that. Or Bess, maybe you can address Lucy wrote. So that's a good idea to find out, you know, the law of respect and specifically who you attract and who's attracted to you. If it's always you reaching out and people are reaching back, don't mistake courtesy for friendship. Don't mistake, you know, somebody just being nice at the moment for actually a level of respect and, you know, that friendship. How do people respond when you ask for a commitment of change? This has a lot to do with, you know, building a business. This has a lot to do with, you know, when you're going to move in another direction. You know, aspect of change is, hey, I'm going to go to this seminar. Are you coming? And people like look around and they wait around and they're like, well, I got to check with my dog, and you know, it depends on the weather, and you know, I might have to change the tire or change the oil that day. I might have to cut the grass. I was thinking about starting a pig farm. I mean, just the excuses you see people coming up with. It has a lot to do. You can tell if somebody's like, oh my gosh, if you're going to be there, I'm going to be there. And I had certain people, if you build to a certain point, you have certain people like, are you going? If you're going, I'm going. That's the only question. If you're going, I'm going. That's a complete 100% level of respect. And that's what you're looking for inside of direct sales. You know, you're trying to find that loyalty. I've been listening to a lot of old seminars from big network marketers that have been in the industry for a while. And they had thousands of people that, you know, that basically said, if you're there, I'm there. You know, no matter where at in the world, at what time, I'm coming. Just because of these principles, they were able to give, they were able to help people, they were able to serve. It was mutual respect. Write a purpose statement. This is one of the things that helps you figure out, because once you know who you are and what you stand for, it's very easy to follow people when you know who they are and what they stand for. Practice the habit of goal setting. They'll help you improve the 6 qualities. Also, things to listen for that can help you lead others to the law of respect. Well, like, people just don't seem to want to do what we're talking about. You know, that's that could be a skill problem. They don't have the skills. You haven't taught them the physical skills. And I found that to be about 20% of the time. 20% of the time, they just don't know what to do. 80% of the time, it's a self-esteem thing. They don't believe they're worthy, or they don't believe it'll work for them. Two, I can't get people to volunteer to help. I can't get people just to show up. That's usually, again, a level of respect. You know, you're looking for people who are like ready to go. Jeff. Okay, so that's kind of what's going on. So with that, I'm going to turn this back over to Bess for any closing thoughts on the law of respect and this lesson.
Thank you, everybody. I'd also like to say hi to Jesse and Travis. Glad you're here. And the story that Lucy did leave another story based on what Jeff said about the comp plan, or that friendship is based upon how they will do with you in business. So Lucy said she left her old company and lost friends. The people wouldn't talk to her anymore, and she actually had upline who did not keep being friends with you if you were not in the business with them. So she agrees that friendship wouldn't be based on a comp plan. So that's kind of cool you had that experience, Lucy, because now you know how that feels. And at least when has similar things have happened to me, I make a point of saying, okay, now I'll learn from this, Bess. You know how this feels now, and be aware that you don't treat other people like that. Watch out for that yourself. So these qualities, the natural ability to lead, the respect for others, the courage to do right things, past success and loyalty and follow through and adding value to other people. It's kind of like the toughest test I know might be to ask the person closest to me or people close to me, how am I doing on these things, and which one do I need, which one am I good at, and which one do I need some work on. In fact, I think I'm going to ask my sister this. She's very good at being honest. And, okay, I'm going to ask her. Tough to look in the mirror sometimes. She's one of my mirrors. So I'm going to invite you all to leave a question that you have for us about this, leadership, or network marketing, and a takeaway, what you got from this. Whoever would like to do that, and thank you for those who did. Going to bring up a question that Julie left in our Facebook group. And she says, how do you handle people that need new people in your team that need guidance, but they're not listening to you about it? And I suggested to her there, I wrote an answer, but also want to bring this to Jeff here today. But what I suggested was that she get into our Quick Start Basics class on Sunday nights, because we teach how to get people started right and how to help them have very fast success, get their money started back, get a quick, their first customer and their first distributor real fast, or else people lose interest, because most people quit within 2 months. So we want them to have success fast and cover all the bases and live up to their potential. We teach how to do that, and also how to work with your team. And of course, being a role model is the best idea of all. And it may be, remember the numbers, because when people say, oh, I can't get my team to do anything or to follow my guidance, it might be that they're not ready. People have to be at high noon to be ready. Maybe someone's at 1, 2, or 6 or 7 p.m. or something like that. They're not at high noon yet in their readiness. So one answer is to get more people, because people who say, their team isn't doing anything, you say, how many people on your team? There's 6 people. Well, they haven't gotten enough yet to find that 10% that are going to be active. So they need to get 10 or more people to find one that might be willing to work with them and follow their guidance. I also suggested another idea, that when they start, that you could say to the person, do you want me to coach you? Do you want me to tell you when I see something that you don't that could hurt your business? Do you want me to come after you when you go missing in action? If they say yes, they want this stuff, then you have their permission to put a little pressure on them. When you do bring something to someone, I suggest sandwiching it in between compliments. I tell them what you notice that they're doing wonderful and good, and then use that compassionate communication system that says what you observe, what you feel, what you need, and you request. Like when I see you not getting the results that I know you want, and I notice you're only doing 3 presentations a month, I worry that you will get discouraged and forget your why. Would you like to, and then the request, would you like to work with me for accountability and skills and get your presentations up so you can get, so you can retire your husband like you told me that you want to do. So that's my quick answer. Jeff, do you have any other advice for Julie?
Yeah, anytime you can't get someone's, it's just not happening. It's because you're at an equal level with them, and they don't feel that that you're the person. So the first question you want to ask is, and this is something I try to find out, is who do you respect in the business? Who do you respect in the industry? Who do you like? As soon as I find out who they like or who they respect, I stop answering questions for that person. I stop giving advice. My job only is to be a cheerleader and a friend. I get myself out of the way and I use third party. You know, anytime I'll promote the heck out of somebody, and then I'll get them on the phone to answer the question or to figure out what's going on or to help them. Get yourself out of the way. That's the number one thing. Is this is a team-based business, and if you don't have those people, in certain cases, I had to build them. And what I mean by that is I have trained upline as well as my own team to be able to become that third party. You know, sit down and have the hours of conversations of these are the personalities. This is what's motivating. This is what's not. This is how to identify these issues, and here's how to go through it. So what I would do is then I would promote that person, and then when I had an issue, I'd bring that person in to answer the question. I'd bring that person in. Anything hard to discuss, anything that wouldn't be in the realm of just cheerleading, when it's a discussion about technique or, hey, this is what would improve or this is what would help, I just get myself out of the way.
Thank you. That's awesome. Julie, did that help? I don't think you're on, or I haven't seen you on here today, but I'll put a note to catch Jeff's response toward the end here. Third party is best avenue, Tim says. Thank you. And welcome, Stephanie Mandera. Glad to see you. So if in closing, if you all are not yet a member of the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show Facebook group, you can go there and request membership. And then you get notifications and replays and a free book and community support and discussion about this. So you meet some really cool people on there. Some of the best people I know are in that group. So we'd love to have you. And anything else to close, Jeff? Tomorrow's number 8, law number 8, intuition.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing is if you continuously grow, you know, if you're reading the books, if you're listening to the audios, that information will come through. That information will come through in your conversation. That information will come through in your everyday life. People will start to notice this internal change that's going on. That's the easiest way I've found to, you know, start gaining that respect, is even if you're not physically out doing the activity, which you should also be doing, if you focus on the internal, what will happen is it will happen externally. You'll figure out, you'll overcome. There's a book for everything that's going on. There's an audio that can probably help you overcome about anything that's going on. And if the audio and the books aren't doing it, you know, your associations and your relationships and who you're around will do it. And with that, you'll be able to make those necessary changes and then start gaining respect with these people. You know, if you leave that group for a while and you take off and you start building and you grow, you know, certain people will say stuff, but it's amazing when you come back and then, you know, people are like, yeah, but you're so different than you were. You know, you're not different. You've just grown. You know, you're just a polished, as I like what my friend said, you're a polished version of yourself. So with that, back over to Bess and we'll close out.
So a real quick, easy way to get that personal growth in every day is tune into these shows or watch the replays if you can't, because we're your personal growth feeders, and you will change from this. Thanks, Jeff.
Awesome.
Oh, Nancy says, one place I failed is to do the third party. Once you get the confidence and way to address it's easy and come natural. Yeah, so many people. Jeff has stories of people that have, you know, skipped third party and then they realized, oh, that was kind of the missing piece to my success. Very powerful. Thank you.
Awesome, guys. With that, we appreciate everybody being on. Like, comment, and share if you got a lot out of this. You know, let us know what your biggest takeaway is. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. Thank you so much.